Hey everybody, if you're streaming us on YouTube or Facebook or watching us on KUM TV8, I'm Jason Salas and this is KUM News Extra. Thank you as always for tuning in. We're glad that you did because we're starting off our show with graduate students from the University of Guam whose spring practicum project is focusing on the very sensitive topic of sexual assault awareness. I have with me on the KUM couch our good friends Scott Wade and Taylor Tadigui. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me.
No, thanks for having us.
Okay, and I like the wordplay. Scott, we'll start with you because Project No More, K-N-O-W, implying both knowledge and application, right?
Right.
Okay, so how did this whole project get started and what have you worked on as a grad student?
So Project No More is an overall sexual assault awareness program through the Guam Coalition of Sexual Assault and Family Violence. And Project No More is kind of like their base program. But because we're a school of higher education, and we'll get into our project in a minute, the know, K-N-O-W, the knowing, is a really catchy use of the No More name. And what it is at the University of Guam, they've always emphasized practicum exercises for graduate students. And we're from the School of Business and Public Administration. And a practicum exercise involves the class cohort doing something, a project, for the community, so that the university is involved with the community and is doing something to try to make a change within the community. Our practicum program is unique compared to some others because what we're doing is a regional project. Our project involves developing a sexual assault or sexual misconduct, because in the region they don't usually use the word sexual assault because of the way their laws and statutes are written. So we are developing a sexual misconduct toolkit, which we call the Sexual Misconduct Awareness Regional Toolkit, the SMART. So we are creating the SMART toolkit.
More clever wordplay.
Thank you. And we got that from our instructor, Dr. John Rivera. And the unique thing about it is this toolkit is going to be used not only on Guam, Guam Community College, the Trades Academy, University of Guam, but in identified schools within the region. I think one of the biggest things we noticed in doing our research is that there was a survey put out in 2016 from the FSM that didn't have any reported sexual misconduct cases reported in universities. But in 2017, there was another survey done by a different organization, and it was a self-reporting survey where people at the colleges would self-report if they were victims of sexual misconduct or, surprisingly, even perpetrators. And there were numbers there. That's a definite sign of a lack of people talking about it. That's a definite lack of people empowering themselves to be able to, tell people, hey, I've had a problem. I've been a victim of sexual misconduct. And one of the focuses on our toolkit is trying to, one, raise awareness within the region because, because of different cultures, because of different ways of looking at things or addressing things within the region, there may be, that we've seen, a lack of understanding of what consent is. A lot of cultural issues come in play when you're dealing with consent.
Exactly.
And then the other part of our, the SMART, is getting people to talk about it. Not only just the victims, not just getting victims to talk about it, and empowering them to come out and be able to, to tell people that one, the problem is real, and two, I've had problems with this subject, this problem.
Well, let me address that question with Taylor now. When you guys were putting this framework together, did you target a specific audience for this and saying like regional colleges, or would you even think that this might work at like at companies or nonprofit organizations or within student groups or church groups even, like things like that?
Yeah, so the original target audience was college students, because we are targeting those areas. Like in the region,
essentially your peers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like on April 21st, we're going to be flying out to collaborate with the Palau Community College to do a translation session to develop this toolkit even better. But then going along, we thought to ourselves that this could work for other the agencies or even high school students. This is going to be effective throughout, not just college, but anyone should be able to use it within the region.
How long have you guys been working on this? Because both of you are getting ready to graduate, right? As graduate students, so you'll have a nice, shiny new degree. And obviously, you can't just throw this together in 2 weeks. So how long have you been taking in terms of, conceptualizing the idea, data gathering, analysis, and maybe more importantly, how do you measure its effectiveness?
Well, we started working on it since January. And there's been a lot of coaching from Dr. Rivera. There's always room for improvement. We always think we have something good to go, ready to push even further. But then, as we look through it, with Dr. John's guidance, he, was always make it better, make it better. So yeah, it's been months and months of progress. And our measure of success is going to be, well, maybe the amount of reporting, or maybe the amount of reporting, although it's going to increase, maybe that's going to benefit us, because our goal is to have people talk about it. So if people are willing to be empowered and speak up, then those numbers are going to show that we're successful and it's working.
And Scott, let's conclude with you, because I'm sure your own experience as a law enforcement officer, would lend to the fact that, like, if you get people to talk about it and you get these cases that rise up and everything like that, that is better for the community.
And that's one of the things, just like exactly what Taylor talked about, that we talked about as a class. When we also met to the dean, because you have to pitch your project to the dean. And your question was exactly hers. What is one of your measures of success? And, ironically, it's going to, we hope, is going to be an increase in reporting. Because that really is the goal. One of the goals is to get people to talk about it. And so, the initial measure of success would be, more reporting. A long-term measure of success would be to see, after that initial reporting, that those incidents actually start to come down. That more people are going to service providers, counseling, and seeking help. And more importantly, that change within the colleges and the community at whole, as far as adults consenting to sexual activities.
Well, I'll tell you what, gentlemen, we are out of time, so we got to run. But I would love to have you guys back in upon graduation, and once you are newly minted master's holders, right? Yes. And hopefully before you go off and pursue your PhDs, we'd love to talk to you about, like, what the reaction was and hopefully where you guys plan on moving forward. So please come on back.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for having us.
All right, and we will see you right after this.